Hello and welcome to PBCJ Presents, our weekly current affairs discussion series. It is here that we take a deep dive into matters affecting Jamaica land we love. I am Maya Chung. With us in studio, we welcome Mrs. Deborah Chen, Executive Director of the Heart Foundation of Jamaica. Our topic is Do Your Part, Check Your Heart. It is also the theme under which Heart Month was launched off by the HFJ this February 2023, which we annually use to focus on heart health. Mrs. Chen, welcome.
Welcome. Thank you so much for having me on
You
your
are
program.
more than welcome. PBCJ News was at the launch and it was excellent. And it also seems like a more aggressive campaign than what I've noted over the years. It seemed, I don't know. So is it that I assumed wrong or am I correct?
I think each year we change the theme based on what is topical at the time or where we see there's a big gap. At one point we did COVID and the heart, when we were trying to get people to get vaccinated and the impact on the heart. Our concern continues to be that a lot of persons are walking around with risk factors for heart disease and are not aware. And we're very concerned about that, especially given the COVID situation from two fronts. One is during COVID, we tended to lead a more sedentary lifestyle and we're probably at home eating all the wrong things. And then secondly, there is evidence emerging that COVID in and of itself can cause some kind of heart problem. But we won't go into that one today because that's not the common one that we're talking about. What we're talking about is a lifestyle one.
And that's why I asked you if you were more aggressive, because the COVID pandemic has changed the game in every health, non-communicable chronic disease you can think of.
Yes.
And I'm assuming with comorbid conditions, you would have to go harder, because I see people being offered $1,000 if you bring in, is it 10 patients for referral of your reference?
For the membership.
Right. Are those things typical? Some of the
Yes,
characteristics of the campaign?
Yes, so I agree with you. So with COVID, as you know, those who had underlying conditions tended to have a worse outcome should they and that still continues to be the case. So COVID hasn't really finished. I know we're fed up of it and we're trying to move on. But yes, we do encourage people to be members of the Heart Foundation because it comes with certain discounts, and like blood pressure checks are free throughout the year, and further discounts on the pharmacy, which is already discounted, but that will give you further discounts. And there's also discounts on some of the checks. But definitely our thrust is to do your part, check your heart, know your numbers. You don't have to remember the numbers.
That's what Mega said, because that sounds like accounts, and I know I wouldn't remember my numbers.
But at least if you go and have it checked, when I said know your numbers, your blood pressure, where you're told that it's okay. Do you know you check your sugar level and you're told it's okay. You check your cholesterol level, you're told it's okay. You check your body mass index, which is your weight, is it okay? So you don't have to really focus on the number itself, more the matter of, is it something that you have checked on and you are given advice by your health professional that you are in good health?
May I ask you this? Is it, just anecdotally, I get the impression that Jamaican people only check cholesterol, BMI, and other things when they're in the soup. I don't get that Jamaicans are proactive. I'm healthy, or I feel healthy and I'm not sick. Jamaican people afraid of doctor, afraid of checks, because I assume it's because we don't like hear bad news. I don't like hear bad news either. How do you motivate them out of that mindset? Because I know it is real. I have friends, I haven't checked my BMI, I haven't checked my cholesterol, and I'm just going to come clean. You've outed me.
Yeah, I think a lot of the information that we give every year till we feel like we're a stock record, it becomes, people tend to be more aware and interested when they have somebody or they know somebody who has had an event. Then all of a sudden they're interested. But I wouldn't fear coming to like the Heart Foundation and being checked, because what we're doing is trying to find out if you're at risk. And if you even have blood pressure might be elevated but not yet in the stages to require medication, at least you've caught it at that point and something can be done. By the time you start having symptoms for a lot of these risk factors, it means that the damage has been ongoing for some amount of time. And it's not just old people something either.
Yeah.
Younger and younger people.
Quite a few of the things that are being like obesity and so, it is not old people stuff. people from babies. You have childhood obesity,
Absolutely.
childhood diabetes,
Yes.
and that's another Jamaican thing I've noted as a journalist. They associate illness and certain things. Well, I'm in a old, blah, 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 blah. It starts at youth, anytime, anywhere. You don't want it to, but it does.
Also, they associate being slim with not being healthy.
Ah, indeed.
So you go home sometime and visit your grandmother in the country and you have to fatten them up because the person is too mager. Not realizing that in fact they're the correct weight for their height. And that when you overfeed them and give them some of the unhealthy ultra-processed foods, the excessive sugary drinks, that you're actually setting them up for a health issue down the road, and not too far down the road either.
There are parents who want to fatten up their kids,
Yes,
and it's not necessarily with vegetables and potatoes or things that are. What is new about this year's campaign?
I think just as you said, the added thrust, trying to get people to come in. We do have mobile teams that go island-wide as well if you can't make it to 28 Beach Road Avenue. But if not, even to go to your health center. To your health center and say you want to be checked, or to your regular doctor. The most important thing is, when last have you had a checkup? That's the thing. At the Heart Foundation, we don't require a referral or an appointment to do a regular check. If eventually we find anything that may need further investigation, then we have other tests, and those may need an appointment. But you can just walk in and say, I would just like to be checked.
Where's the Heart Foundation located, and do you have branches? Because that's a thing I find when people have to travel from Westmoreland to,
Yes.
you have branches.
No, we have a mobile team. We don't have an actual office. So we're at Kingston, and the mobile team does go island-wide. So people will send in requests, get a church group together, a school PTA together, a company. A company may get their workers together and ask us to come for the day. But if they can't, the most important thing is to get checked wherever. Can you go to your health center? Can you go to your regular doctor?
Your primary care physician.
Yes, that's
All
right.
right, let me ask you this. I see a number of outside broadcasts planned for the education campaign that you're rolling out this year. I want you to tell me why outside broadcasts. When we come back from the break, hold it there for a while. You're watching PBCJ Presents. My name is Maya Chung. My guest is Executive Director of HFJ, Deborah Chen, and our topic is Do Your Part, Check Your Heart. Stay with us. Welcome back to PBCJ Presents. I am Maya Chung. My guest is the Executive Director of the Heart Foundation of Jamaica. It's Heart Month in February. Do your part, check your heart. Mrs. Chen, we were talking a while ago about fattening up people, the ability of the HFJ to go to like different parishes. Yes. However, you want them in clusters. So get a group together.
Yes.
You're not going to go one coca, but because the main office is in Kingston at Beach Road
Avenue. Yes.
All right. Are these things costly? Does the mobile, if I get a cluster of 10 persons in Westmoreland or Portland, what is the cost for that? And those are some of the things that are really real, because money is thin. It has become thinner since COVID.
Yes.
Outline to me.
What I can say, I mean, I don't know if I really want to go into the cost, because there's packages. Like if you do this test and that test, it costs so much. What I can say is that the prices are subsidized, meaning that they're less expensive than elsewhere, because we're a non-government and we're a charity and we have fundraising events. So what I can just say is that it will be better. But remember that you have to look after your health. There is a cost, yes, because unfortunately there's cost to pay.
There's cost to everything.
We have to have transport. We have to pay the staff. But the cost will be more reasonable. And better yet, we come to you. So we can be in your company, in your church hall, in your school room.
Your office.
Yes.
There you
office,
go.
Yes.
What are some of the developments contextualized against the COVID-19 pandemic that you have had to be dealing with? And also, more than likely, you would have had to adapt the 2023 campaign to inculcate things previous to the pandemic, right? What are some of those things?
Well, again, it is just to increase, as you were saying earlier, the importance of getting screened, because COVID is still with us. We don't like to talk about it and we're all fed up of it, but it's still there. So if you do get COVID, even as we speak, and you do have an underlying condition, such as a heart condition or diabetes, your outcome can be worse. So we're just trying to get people, yes, okay, we're fed up and so on, but we still have to be mindful. But if you do have underlying heart disease or diabetes, for example, that something can be done. It can be. The health professional would, give you an examination if you need medication. But of course, we have to do our part with our lifestyle changes as well.
Give me some of the lifestyle changes that you know need to happen. Just generally, people listening in,
Yeah.
I'm doing everything wrong. What should we be doing right?
I would say the number one issue is unhealthy nutrition. The number one issue. Exercise is important, but you cannot exercise away a bad diet. So it is no good exercising and then going home and,
What are bad diets? Empty sugars? Give me a list. Give me at least 5 things.
So the sugary sweetened beverages is one of the main ones. The reason being is that we drink liquid all day long. You may have a piece of cake now and again at a birthday party, but you're not eating cake all day. The problem with the drinks is that we drink all day long. We're in a hot country, we drink. And if every single time you drink, it's a sugary sweetened beverage, you could easily well rack up 50 teaspoons of sugar in a day.
What is the equivalent on the heart to 50 teaspoons of sugar?
Well,
Is
depends.
it that measurable?
Not exactly, but it does things so it increases. So obesity would be one, obviously.
And obesity perpetuates heart disease.
Right, because then you're expecting your body to carry around this extra weight, right? It will also affect the pancreas, which processes the sugar, which is where you get diabetes, because we expect the pancreas to be processing 10, 15, 20 teaspoons of sugar a day and to remain functional all the time. And then one day we get diabetes. But back to the obesity though, what I align it to is, suppose I give you a knapsack now with 20 pounds of yam in it and I said you're to walk around with this all day. What would you feel like at the end of the day? But if you're 20 pounds overweight, that's what you're doing, or 10 pounds overweight.
People don't realize it because it comes on incrementally.
That's
you
right.
would have given me
That's
the
right.
20 pounds in one fell swoop, but as it incremental,
Absolutely.
you find yourself panting, going up the hill, and then slowly but surely you can't make it over there. So when you used to could have drug over there. So
That's true.
what do you will have a platform here. Talk to the people out there outside of the campaign. Remind them, because this is their month, about our month, because I have a heart. Remind us what you need to remember. Every year we come, we have to remind you because it's important. Remind us.
Well, the first thing is we spoke about nutrition throughout the year. Cut out those sugary sweetened beverages. Drink water instead. Portion size. Instead of however many spoons of rice, reduce it. You can grill your stuff instead of filling it with oil. But outside of that, do your checks. Even once a year, check yourself. Blood pressure, cholesterol, blood sugar in particular, and your height and weight.
Don't you get a lot of, we are unruly people, Lord, Mrs. Chen, grill my food, drink water. Sometimes I just feel if I drink a soft drinks and blah, blah, blah. How hard it is for the foundation to fight against that type of mentality, because we are not unruly people.
Well, the thing is not that you can't have it, it's how much. If you have it on occasion, but it shouldn't be part of your everyday life.
Can I ask you, because I'm unaware, if I came to the Heart Foundation of Jamaica, could I get a list of, like a nutrition list to follow? Printed and stuff, or to my phone?
And on our website as well, we do have some fact sheets that speak about, what you can swap things for, what are the healthy, nutritious foods, and so on.
I think I have an idea as to how to get people to pay attention. Living with heart disease entails what? Give them all the terrible stuff, because you're still alive, So I'm assuming you're still suffering. Not the heart attack and dead, and God forbid, we don't want that either, but tell of the life of the suffering with a bad heart.
Well, your movement is restricted, because sometimes you get to the point where you have heart failure, you cannot move around as much as you want.
Heart
You're
failure
short
while
of breath.
living?
Yes.
Oh, it's failing while
Failing.
it's not dead failing.
Yet. So you're walking
Never put it like
around. When you even short distances, you have to sit down. You're puffing and you're blowing. At night, you have to, or even sitting up, you can't lay down. So you have to prop yourself up at night.
You can't
to breathe, because you see the fluid is building up. The heart is not working properly. Let us say it's damaged by high blood pressure. So it's not pumping around the blood effectively. So it pools in, say, our extremities, our legs, where we get swelling, and the same thing in your lungs. So you have to just be sitting upright. So you find that your daily activities are affected. But then there's also a cost factor. you can no longer work, especially if you're in the prime of life and it has progressed to the point where you can't work, depending what your job is. And so there's an economic cost as well to the family. Let us say you're the prime breadwinner, you're in the prime of your life, and you're now no longer able to function. There's also
at optimal level.
Right,
All
exactly.
right, stick a pin right there. I'm going to take a break. You are watching PBCJ Presents. The topic is Do Your Part, Check Your Heart. My guest is Executive Director of the Heart Foundation of Jamaica, Deborah Chen. Stay with us. We have more after the break. And welcome back. You're watching PBCJ Presents. The topic this week, Do Your Part, Check Your Heart. With me today is Executive Director of the Heart Foundation, Deborah Chen, who was just telling us about the mal effects of not trying to sustain a healthy heart, right? We reach to the economics of it. I think people don't grasp it when it's domestic. But people don't realize that the GDP factor, because if people aren't working because of health, it's not because you can't get a job, you're unskilled or so.
Yes.
It translates from the very home right out into the economy. So people, I mean, I don't know if people are making the linkages between salt, obesity, heart failure, and so on, but people not realizing that even the bad conditions of life, when you can't work and provide, it's a big deal. You need to be healthy. So, Mrs. Chen, what would be the hallmark of the foundation this year when February ends? You don't stop doing your part and checking your heart. What is the hallmark the HFJ has set? We want to achieve this thing for this year's set of activities that we've done. What is
What we
that?
would like to see is an increase of the number of persons coming for screening, just coming and saying, I want my heart to be checked. No, we can't really measure what happens outside of our auspices, of course, but hopefully it will have an effect, generally speaking. But certainly in the past, we have seen a significant uptick in the number of persons coming. Programs like yours are fantastic, and it really encourages people to come. So we're hoping that more people will turn up. And from that, if we do find any problems, then we can take the necessary steps to prevent it ending in a heart attack or a stroke.
All right, let me tell you this, and I know this for facts. You can never give everybody everything that is important about a health topic. Give us your contact information earlier in this period, because we want people to just, I missed this, but I hear do my part, check my heart.
Yes.
Where can we find you? Not just the beach with the WhatsApp, the social, all of that.
Right. So we're on @Heart Jamaica on Facebook, and we're Heart Foundation of Jamaica on Instagram and on Twitter. And
Spelled Heart, HEART Foundation.
Right. And we also have a website, again, if you look up Heart Foundation of Jamaica. And we do have a WhatsApp number for anything you want. You want an appointment, you want to know a cost, you want to join a CPR class. So you can't go wrong with that number. Anything at all, it'll be rooted to, if you want to know something from the pharmacy, do we have a particular medication, you want to book a CPR class, anything at all, that number will get you through.
And ladies and gentlemen need to remember that this is all year round.
Yes.
We're just using these various months to highlight the
That's
various
right.
things. So people should not forget that it's not just February. Oh, February done, I can't call them. All right, moving on. You shared some interesting facts with me from the NHF. I'd like to hear
Yes.
some more about that, because this thing is costing the nation. And one thing I wanted to highlight is the fact that people don't seem to, when I do no maths, none at all. The money that you spend here could have been building schools, better giving
Yes.
it. Yes, so give me the NHS
so
stats.
the other day, the NHF had a launch, and the CEO was saying that the subsidy payments for medications were 6.41 billion in the 2021 to 22
What kind of
year.
billion?
Jamaican billion.
For the 2021 to 2022
fiscal year. And he said that
Wait, say it again.
6.41 billion.
Wow.
And there were 4.3 million claims. But what I found interesting in the area that we work is that out of that, 65%, just over 65% of those claims were for 3 of the risk factors for heart disease, which was high blood pressure, diabetes, and high cholesterol, 65%.
Why you find that interesting? Because it's a standard that we know that those.
Well,
why is it interesting?
Well, it's because unfortunately it shows that this is where the problem lies.
You know what? It's escalating over the years, even though.
Yes.
We're getting worse.
Yes, we're actually getting worse. The health and lifestyle survey over the years have seen the things increasing, the numbers increasing. These are not just the figures that the Heart Foundation of Jamaica shows.
Tell the world.
So, the health and lifestyle survey done by the University of the West Indies was done in 2001, repeated in 2008 and in 2017. Let us look at a couple of them. Overweight went from 45.7 in 2001 to 53.9. High blood pressure went from 20.9 to 31.5. Diabetes 7.2 to 10.2. Cholesterol 14.6 to 17.1. So what do you notice? Everything is going up in the wrong direction. So when the university do another one, what is the next one going to say, especially post-COVID?
I know we only have, we have a lot of month left. Right, so we're doing some mobile checks in certain parts. So how do we continue to get the message out there past February?
Well, the thing is, your heart is beating as we speak. It doesn't stop beating after February. So I think as long as we remember that the heart is just working all day long, we don't service it, we don't do anything with it, we think it's just going to keep going. So it's to keep a check all the time. If you can't check your heart in February gives you a time period to go by on the calendar. But really, once a year, whatever, could be your birthday, maybe you come every birthday and have your heart checked, but as long as it's once a year.
Do it for yourself. Thank you very much. I've been speaking with the Executive Director of the Heart Foundation of Jamaica. Our topic has been Do Your Part, Check Your Heart. It's the theme for this February's Heart Month. My name is Maya Chung. Your program has been PBCJ Presents. Stay with us on this station for more programming.